Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Fleric.
Well,
Hold on there, Fleric.
who are we, Ryan?
Ryan?
That's Yokozuna Fleric. That's Yokozuna Jake.
Thank you.
And that's Yokozuna Mac.
I haven't been called in so long.
Yeah. So,
And why are you calling us Yokozuna, Ryan?
because apparently I lost, and the three of you are colluding together so that we don't have an actual winner, so I have to call all three of you Yokozuna, which has never happened in the history of this show.
There's a first
breaking
time for
records.
everything.
Thank you, Fleric.
It just
And,
throws off all of our stats that we're keeping in the background.
Speaking of you losing, sorry, I just wanted to savor that a little bit. We've got a little game that we're going to play. So Ryan's going to roll a die, a 20-sided die, and that's going to select which silly phrase he has to say.
I feel like it's not going to be silly and more mean-spirited towards me.
Yep, you know us very well.
It could very well be.
All right, so I got the chart. Why don't we get our first roll?
All right, we got a 5. You know who I hate? Waka Ichiro.
Oh, you monster!
You're a terrible person.
Let's move on.
You know who I hate? People who hate Waka Ichiro.
Right,
you
you
are,
are,
Jake.
Jake.
Ooh.
All right, I
I see we're a similar mind,
Yeah,
Yokozuna Mac.
definitely. It's like we know.
Thanks, fellow Yokozuna.
I do have a proposal for you three because I do so much hate that we're not going to have a singular winner. I have a contest to determine a winner, and if you guys agree to this, I will also call the winner of that contest Yokozuna in the preview for the Natsu episode.
What if you call them Yokozuna?
I could
That's
do
twice
that.
as good.
I could do that. Do we
That's
have a
totally
deal?
No, I think you should call us all Yokozuna.
I'm good with colluding still.
I still collusion, definitely.
This is a nice shared, it's a momentous event. Like, we all equally got the same number of points of 2.
And it's momentous in particular because it's Ryan who lost. If it was any other group of 3, we wouldn't have colluded properly.
I would not allow it. For sure. Okay, I was prepared for that.
Were you?
I will also extend my punishment into all bonus episodes recorded between now and the next preview, if you agree for there to be one winner.
How about for the rest of the podcast, you call all of us Yokozuna?
No deal.
All right. Well, you had your chance, Ryan.
All right, I assumed that wouldn't work, so we're just going to do that for funsies and fun facts.
Why don't you throw that die one more time?
Got a 13.
13. Hey, Ryan, what are sidewalks made out of?
Cement.
Oh, that was painful.
That's what I thought. That was so worthwhile. Okay, so now, Mr. I have a construction engineering degree. What are sidewalks actually made of?
Concrete.
And what does it really hurt you to call that?
Cement.
Oh, I could see the depth in his eyes.
The anguish.
All right, I think we've gone over...
It's going to be like a really fun hour and a really, really painful next month for us.
Yeah. Well, it all makes sense since last time you all three lost and I won, so I got to shoot you all with dart guns. So it's kind of... Really, it's just karma for
Cathartic,
the last
really.
basho for you three. All right, let's move on to the Haru basho results. We have a Yusho winner, a 42nd time Yusho winner, Hakuho, who went 15-0, his 15th zensho-yusho. That's just incredible.
He's pretty good at the sumo.
That he is.
He can do it quite well.
To put that in perspective, it's his 15th undefeated basho. It was also Yago's 12th basho.
Yeah. Just to put that in perspective for everybody.
Yago's got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
Easy, youngin'.
We've got a Jun Yusho winner, Ichi Nojo, his second Jun Yusho. He went a career best 14-1, which would have been good enough to win a lot of Yusho in the past year, but not when Hakuho is on his game.
It's too bad we didn't get to see them face off, too.
It is, but he was just outside of the Joy, so obviously the schedule didn't line up for it. Obviously, if they had the same record, we would have seen a playoff, but just kind of a quirk of the scheduling. But because of that, impressive performance. Ichinojo also won the Shukunsho, the Outstanding Performance Special Prize. That is his second career Shukunsho. Other special prize winners are Takakeisho, reeling in his second consecutive Gino Show or Technique Prize, and we got Aoyama winning his third Kanto Show or Fighting Spirit Prize.
Pretty solid performances from all of them. And Aoyama, future Yokozuna right there.
Oh, definitely.
Not
definitely.
saying it until the dice forces me to, because I know it's coming. All right, so let's just jump. I did that all right thing. We noticed.
Yes, you did.
We noticed recently that every single transition, I always start with a good hearty all right.
And I think we also need a good hearty dice roll.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's break up that a little bit. All right.
Nat 20. You know what I think? No, it really grinds my gears. Women on the doyo. Women should not be allowed on the doyo.
Attaboy.
You monster.
You have some terrible hot takes, Ryan.
Terrible hot takes, but he's being a good sport about it.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be some people that agree with me.
This one was not because it's like it's not because it's an opinion no one has, but I know it's definitely not the opinion Ryan has.
Correct. All right, Hakuho won the Yusho, and I think what might overshadow his impressive performance is that injury he received on the final day of the basho. You could see it kind of in the middle of the match against Kakuryu on day 15. He was grimacing. It was a good, hard-fought match, a nice long match. Back and forth battle, belt battle, and then Hakuho ended up throwing him at the end for the win. But you could see that Hakuho was favoring his arm immediately after. He couldn't lift the Emperor's Cup when he was accepting the Yusho. He couldn't do anything with that arm. The day after, he can move his arm somewhat, but he couldn't use it to lift his cup of water when he was being interviewed. He said that he's going to rest a while without going to the hospital. He thinks it's probably torn, and he will join the Jungyo after a few days.
Shades of Kisano Sato here.
Yes.
I don't like it. That does not bode well.
Yeah.
And also some more injury news on Hakuho. Apparently he hurt his knee again on day 8 and then did days 9 and 10 with painkillers. So he's also got that.
What does hurt his knee even mean for Hakuho anymore? Like those knees have been hurt so many times. I wonder what like healthy knees would feel like for him.
Didn't
no
the
kidding.
last time he had to do endoscopic surgery and then have to get it drained?
Yeah, that was the last basho.
That was
right
prior to last basho, yeah. I think he had missed Kyushu completely. He missed Kyushu completely after he got that done and then came back for Hatsu where he went 10-0 and then 0-3 and then left because of injuries there. So what do you guys think about Hakuho's immediate comments after that injury?
It's really worrying because it sounds exactly like Kisano Sato. I don't know. It's not something that I want to see from an athlete who I hope can have more future success. In his mid-30s with as many injuries as he has, he can, he certainly has the right to take some time off here, but I really hope that he gets it taken care of how he's supposed to. Get it checked out by a doctor, does surgery if he really needs it.
Yeah, I also agree. I feel like he's joking with us. Like,
I sure hope
You
so.
think he's joking?
I feel like he's just messing with like the media and all of his fans because it seems so out of character for Hakuho. He's always said, "Hey, I want to make it to the 2020 Olympics." Every time he feels like a little injured, even if he's in the Yusho race, he's not afraid to step out of the basho or just also to get surgery if he needs to do it, also to stay healthy. To just not even consider it, like the way he said it, he just kind of said, "Oh yeah, I'm not even going to think about this or get checked out by doctors." Just seems like so out of character. I feel like it's just messing with us.
Yeah, I don't know that we can say that he's messing with us. I know that a big thing for him is he wanted to win the last basho of the Heisei era, which he just did, and he wanted to win the first basho of the next era. So maybe that's kind of driving him to try to fight through it. Maybe he really, really wants that.
It's possible. Heisei era being in Japan, they actually have eras which coincide to how which emperor is in power. And the most recent emperor of Japan decided to retire. And so the end of the Heisei era is coming up, and it's going to be the start of a new one.
Yep, at the end of April is when they're scheduled to make that official tradition. So the next basho will be the first of a new era.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't think we know the name yet.
No, not yet.
Crown Prince Naruhito is going to accede to the throne.
And now we do.
Well, that's his name now. I'm not sure if that's going to be the name that he keeps as emperor.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, does he get like an actual shikona? Similar to the Rikishi, or?
I'm sure it's exactly they handle politics as sumo. Yes.
Well, of course.
Yeah. He's gonna
Naturally.
He's going to get Shikona and participate in the next basho.
I want a
As
full
is tradition.
keshimawashi. I want the full ring ceremony, everything.
he has to make a palace iri ceremony.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
All right. We do actually have some quotes from the former Kisano Sato Araiso Oyakata.
Hey, we got some quotes that we came up with for you.
Jeez.
Why don't you roll that die?
All right, we got 15. Oh, come on. The Kill Bill movies are senseless and poorly made.
Ooh.
My favorite movies.
Would it help you to know that we didn't come up with that one?
I bet that was from my wife,
That was from your wife.
who you needlessly reeled in to your scheme, and I don't appreciate
She
it.
helped us out a lot with
Yes.
this.
All right.
Speaking of movies that Ryan hates,
Araiso Oyakata said about Hakuho's injury, the worrying part is the injury to the right arm, obviously.
well, yeah.
As I was doing guard duty during the Yusho parade, Hakuho said to me, "It's torn. It hurts, doesn't it?" I have my own experience with a torn muscle. If it's a serious tear, it's hard to get power from it. It drops to 80, 90%. The Yokozuna knows how to recover from injuries as he got himself to Yusho winning state after his surgery, but this is a worrying injury. So if it's something that worries Kisei no Sato or Araiso Oyakata.
There's a clue hidden in there.
It would be the perfect time for him to just take multiple bashos off and heal. So I really, really hope that he's not going to try to power through it.
Maybe not multiple, because I think it'd be kind of cool to see him when we were in Japan.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, that's a
Hakuho
good
better
point.
take one basho off and then
Okay.
come right back.
Yes, don't do the Mitaki Yumi thing. Just take your time, heal, and then when we're there, please just get another Zensho.
Specifically on day 9.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good point. But barring that, I feel like after a zensho-yusho, no one's going to
Yeah.
question whether or not like he's good enough to still be Yokozuna.
Oh, yeah, no way.
I
This was
ho-
his 15th Zensho-yusho.
I-
Come on.
I know it's so impressive, and so I just really hope he decides to get at least some doctors to take a look at it, and if he needs to take as much time off as he needs to stay good. Because
Totally.
I too want to see him at the 2020 Olympics.
All right, so injury aside, what did we think of Hakuho's performance during the spa show? Besides, wow, he's really good.
That was line item number 1 there for sure.
Indeed.
But yeah, my second thought on seeing him, just like in a couple recent bashos, he's had some absolute miracle comebacks. Like he can have his back to his opponent and his opponent's hands both on his own belt, and he's still the favorite.
He just rolls away.
He somehow just does like a swim move, spins around, and just like makes the other guy immediately crash to the ground. I just don't understand it. Like,
Yeah,
people who are top 10 in the entire world at sumo, and it doesn't matter. He can just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, in a stretch of 3 days, twice against Tochiozan and Tamawashi, he got completely turned around, like back to his opponent, and then just because he's Hakuho, has the speed and agility to somehow turn that into a winning position. I don't remember exactly the Tochiozan match, but the Tamawashi match, he somehow just got a hold of Tamawashi's head and just kind of threw him to the ground, kind of like a headlock throw sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought that was the most impressive because he was in a losing position, definitely right there, and he was able to just get his arm around and throw him at the last second and to actually get a victory there.
Yeah.
We saw that cheeky Hakuho grin quite a few times this
Yeah,
match.
yeah, it came out a few
I can't
times.
believe I did that.
Yeah, he definitely felt like he got lucky a couple times.
He's really good at getting lucky.
Yes.
15 times in a row.
All right, let's move on to I think we'll probably call him a surprise June Yusho winner. I don't think any of us were expecting a 14-1 performance out of Ichi Nojo.
You know what another surprise is, Ryan?
Oh, dear. All right. We got a 4. Oh. It's true, but Hokuto Fuji will never love me.
Oh, that's so sad.
He'll never even know I exist.
No,
Not
that
if you
attitude.
scream really loud while we're
Ooh,
there.
yes. Well, if we're in
It's-
Japan,
It's encouraging that you say it out loud now. That
Yeah,
you've- that
yeah.
You're coming to this realization.
Just like the Japanese girls on day 10 yelled at Meisei, you can yell at Hokuto Fuji before his match.
Completely in your fangirl voice.
I'll hire a couple of ladies that are around us to scream out for Hokuto Fuji. with
Okay,
me.
that works.
If that's what you want to tell yourself. We all know you're going to be yelling out yourself.
I mean, it's true.
But anyway,
So how about that Ichinojo?
So speaking of wrestlers that don't love Ryan,
I'm okay with the
most of
Ichinojo
them.
one.
But yeah, that's
Most?
probably all.
continuing on.
But no, Ichinojo, he was awake for the
Who
first half of the
woke him
basho.
up?
Yeah, and for the rest of the basho, he just was showing some really good sumo. I guess a lot of it was kind of hataki komi at the end. That's why I
was-
noticed.
He fought.
3 straight at the end, 6 total Hataki Komi, and then he also had 3 Tsukio Toshis or something like that, which is just like a thrust down as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tsukio Toshi.
But it was interesting to note that the majority of his matches all started with a powerful slap to the face, and then usually a shot to the shoulder, and then the Hataki Komi. Kind of channeling his inner Hakuho. Hakuho a lot, was it last year or the year before, where that's how he started every single match, was just a slap to the face and then blasting through them.
And then in a theme we'll get to later, the Yokozuna Deliberation Council said, hey, no, we're going to reprimand you.
But
Yeah.
obviously not this time.
Yeah, it was a lot of his matches looked similar, but it was definitely effective. So he was using what worked, and like he was moving around too. I think the Takikomi kind of requires like a kind of pullback at the same time, and so he was definitely moving, like which is the big criticism we said before.
Yeah, for sure. The other key here is he only had 2 matches, 1 win and 1 loss by Yorikiri. He was staying near the center of the dohyo. When we've seen him, what we refer to as sleepy Ichinojo, it's when he gets towards the edge and gives up. So he managed to stay almost the entire basho. He managed to stay in the ring and push somebody down or throw somebody down rather than try and push them towards the edge.
Yeah, I actually did a little bit of research into that because it was definitely a big departure from what we've seen from Ichinojo in the past. So like we mentioned in this basho, he had 9 wins that were either by slapdown, Hataki Komi, or thrust down, Tsukio Toshi. So that was 65% of his wins this basho. Compared to his entire career, he only has 15% of wins by Hataki Komi or Tsukio Toshi. Typically, most of his wins are coming by Yorikiri or Oshidashi, which in his career, 57% of his wins are by Yorikiri or Oshidashi. But as Jake said before, only 1 win by Yorikiri and no wins by Oshidashi in this basho. And so it's just kind of crazy how much he kind of changed his style. Just a couple of quick notes on that. The most Hataki Komi he used in a the most Hataki Komi he used in a previous basho was 3, as opposed to the 6 he had this time, and that was his Makuuchi debut when he went 13-2, his second best ever performance. And there was actually a full year between Hatsu 2017 and Hatsu 2018 where he never even used Hataki Komi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he tried at some point or other, but it's,
Well, yeah.
but it's telling that like if he's trying that strategy, you'd expect it to be there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's sorry to jump ahead a little bit, but he had a very similar style of sumo this time to Aoyama. They both were using their size to get an initial push and then jumping backwards with the slapdown. And it was kind of odd to see both guys using that strategy, that, you know, very consistently using that same strategy every day and it working so well. It was kind of a weird and sudden departure from the past of how those guys wrestle.
I mean, Tochi Noshin had a great performance in Hatsu 2018 where he pretty much did the double hand grip on the Mwashi and just lifted guys out of doyo. He was getting that every single day in 14-1 in Yusho victory. So maybe people just weren't expecting that out of Ichinojo this basho. Catch on to that in the next one. We'll see how he does. But yeah, it's definitely a big departure from what we've usually seen from Ichinojo. What do you guys expect from him in the upcoming bashos? Because we fully expect him to be Sekewake in the next basho.
He's going to need to sell me at least one more basho here before I buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been so inconsistent day to day in the past that it's hard to give him a ton of credit basho to basho. On the other hand, it's it's something where maybe next year, in hindsight, we'll look silly for even questioning that the new Ichinojo is here. On the other hand, if we talk him up now, I think it's more likely that we'll look silly next year.
Future Ozeki Ichinojo.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I think that if he has another good one, I'll start buying it, that he's kind of coming into his own, but it's tough sell right now.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat.
Would you guys think this could possibly be a start of an Ozeki run?
No way.
I think it's possible, but I guess I'm leaning on maybe a 25% chance that this is like a corner being turned, and like a 75% chance that it's a new strategy that he's surprising people with and is feeling very healthy this basho, And I don't know. I'm kind of expecting him to go back to what we've seen in the past, but
No, I'd agree with you there, Jake. And like you said before, he's got to sell me a little bit more. I need to see a little bit more consistency, maybe a little change up in his style. Obviously, losing the weight really helped him in this case. I think, what did he drop? 3 kilos? Something like that? He dropped a little weight. He's a little faster. Hopefully, maybe he can keep that off, maybe get a little quicker, not lose as much girth. But this method is working. He just needs to keep refining it, I think.
This is his first time outside of the Joy, which is the first top 16 wrestlers in a while, right?
Yeah, because he was at Sekewake for basho and then took a couple before he dropped down.
So I think it's the first time he dropped below, and he did really well. I guess I feel like when he gets back up, we're going to see a lot of the same stuff. Once he starts facing a lot of tougher opponents, it's going to be probably around like eight wins or so.
I just want to give a shout out to one of our fans, Wata, for
Writing a book?
No, it's the new running joke on the podcast. Sumo database is down, so I don't.
Are you kidding?
So I don't know how much weight Ichinojo lost.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll find out in a few minutes.
I was trying to look up like his record too, like how long he's been in the Sanyaku, but I just can't look it up.
I know he had 4.
Only there was-
we
at
need to go into
Sekewake.
Ryan's vault here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive on 4 at Sekewake and then 1 at Magashiro 1. I don't know where he was before he was up to Sekewake.
Yeah, but it is.
It's been about a year.
It's definitely his first basho against lower competition in a little while. So that's going to be part of it. But he's jumping right back into the deep end.
All right, I remember that Wikipedia exists. Perfect. Ryan was exactly right. He was in like the top. He was making sure 1 through Sekewake for pretty much a year in one basho.
Okay. I will point out to Flarrick's point, I know that Ichinojo faced off against all 3 Ozeki, I believe both of the Sekewake. So it's not like the only top 2 guys that he missed, I believe. I'm not sure if he faced off against the Komusubi or not. He did. I remember he beat Mitake Yumi. But he only missed the Yokozuna. So,
it's back, so I can help you out here.
Perfect.
He did beat Mitake Yumi. He did not face Hokuto Fuji, though.
Okay. So the only guys that he really missed were Hakuho, which we'd probably assume be a loss, in Kakuryu.
And he dodged that Hokuto Fuji bullet.
He dodged that Hokuto Fuji bullet. If he had faced Hokuto Fuji Fuji would have had
Forget about it.
Kachikoshi. So, I mean, to your point, saying if he was back up there, he would have had 8 wins. Maybe not.
That's a really good point. He definitely wrestled above his what we've seen from him this basho. So it will be interesting if he can keep it up. It's no telling what we might see from him.
Be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. All right. Dang it. There's that all right again. Okay.
Hey,
You know what else is right here again?
All right. Dang it.
roll 2.
Oh, I got to roll 2 now.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever. 7.
Oh, this one's going to be hard. This one's going to be hard for the Iowa boy.
My family is going to love hearing this if they actually listen to this podcast. I wish I was a Hawkeye instead of a Cyclone.
For shame.
And now I wish I was dead. Got 17. No.
Let's hear it.
I've always known Flarrick is the superior Mario Kart player.
Ooh.
That one hurts.
Well, now that that's settled, you guys can move on with your lives.
Who was that again? Who was the better?
I've always known Yokozuna Flarrick is the superior Mario Kart player.
Oh, a double serving.
I like this episode.
Oh, that was nice.
Can we bring back the dart guns?
Not this episode.
What was our next topic, by the way? That was too good.
That would be future in Natsu Ozeki Takakeisho.
Yeah.
He got to a record of 10-5. He was 1-1 against the Yokozuna, notching his first win against Kakuryu. He was 2-1 against the Ozeki, defeating Tochinoshin and Takayasu. So he had a good performance against the top guys with 10 total wins this basho, making it 3 straight basho in the Sanyaku ranks with double-digit wins, totaling 34 wins. They could not deny him this time.
I bet they tried.
We got a gosh darn Ozeki Takakeisho. What do you guys think?
About damn time.
I've been angry about this for 2 months.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, the only downside, and I'm only doing this to play devil's advocate. I'm super excited about it. I'm happy for him. He's one of my favorites. But to play devil's advocate, it really sucks seeing anytime somebody touches his belt that he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to win a ton of matches, but it's another thing to be like a well-rounded, technical strategist that can win any kind of match. That's my only concern here. Like, the other guys like Goedo and Takayasu are much more well-rounded. Tochinoshin, you can make the argument that he's only a grappler.
I was going to say,
but
counterpoint, Tochinoshin, if he doesn't touch the Mawashi.
It's a good counterpoint, but still, I don't know. That's the only rain on the parade that I've got to provide here.
And that's something that I wanted to bring up is that there's a lot of people that I have been seeing kind of not on the Takakeisho hype train just because he does have this big glaring weakness at 22 years of age, making an Ozeki promotion.
What a scrub.
Yeah. Wow. And like I've seen people on Reddit, on r/sumo, there's a popular thread right now called Takakeisho's Style of Sumo, with the main part of that being, am I the only one who finds it dull? And has there ever been an Ozeki so helpless in Yotsuzumo? And there's just people on there saying that because of his style of sumo, that they cheer for everybody against him. There's one person, luckily they've been downvoted pretty far. But
let's talk to what he said.
Is still out there that says like his promotion is a very bad turn of events for sumo in general.
No.
And then if he becomes the start of a new trend, that will make the sport way less enjoyable to watch. So, I mean, not many people agree with him, but there's people out there who think like that about Takakeisho. So what are your guys' we know Jake,
Well, Reddit is dead to me now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, those people are just wrong.
yeah.
I think that like whatever reservations you have about it, I would definitely disagree with the boring part of it. I think it's for sure exciting.
Some people saying they don't like the wave action, and I really like the wave action. I mean, I'm not like a
Wave
sumo.
No, I think they're talking about the franticism of his
Hits,
hands.
bounces off, like knocks down the hand. People have called that like the wave action.
Okay.
He's kind of going for like the counter as he backs up. He is using his hands to preempt if somebody's going to charge in at him at that moment. I think that it's fun to watch for sure, but like you can't really say it's bad for the sport because like that's just the technique that's working now. If you can't counter it, you don't deserve to beat him.
Yeah, that's Ozumo, if I'm remembering correctly.
That is what the sport is called.
Yeah.
No, not. No, the technique. There's Yatsusumo and Ozumo.
Oshizumo.
Oshizumo. There we go.
Right,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oshizumo. That is to his credit. That is definitely of a Ozeki's caliber. He needs to keep improving. Granted,
yeah.
But no one can deny that his pushing thrusting attacks are outstanding.
Yeah, the thing that I always really impressed me with Takakeisho is his balance between pushing and pulling. Like he's able to like do very, very hard hits, and then when people try to counter that, like when you least expect it, he's going to actually react with a pull and like be able to push them down that way.
He plays with rhythm a little bit, like he's anticipating, like he does that wave, that slap down, whether or not they're there, because he's anticipating that they might be. And something that just occurred to me as we're talking about it, Ichinojo wrestled exactly as a giant Takakeisho would. Like that technique, there's a lot of parallels there between the pushing and then the sudden reversals and going for the slapdowns. I think that's really cool. I wonder if that has anything to do with Takakeisho's success, that Aoyama and Ichinojo tried that kind of back and forth move.
Yeah, I think it goes. I feel like that's like the ultimate style of Oshizumo for the most part. Like be able to threaten the insane push and the insane pull at the exact same time. And I feel like he's just doing that so well.
I really enjoy it. I think it's super
Absolutely.
exciting regardless of the good or bad.
I will point out there are plenty of people saying, like, defending him is like, yeah, he's really good at that, and he's so good he's an Ozeki. Get off his back.
Exactly.
Like, yes, he should improve the Mawashi game, but also look at his body type. He's playing to his strengths. Like, he has really short arms. Mawashi's going to be tough for him. So maybe right now, as he's young, he's barely been in this sport. He started when he was like 16, 17, something like that. I don't know.
Younger than that.
Like you said, he's 22.
Yeah, he's only 22. Maybe he's just working on specializing this one part, and then he can work on working in the Mawashi game. Whether that will come to fruition, who knows? He does have those really short arms that could really hamper that. But
Yeah, I think it's important to note, though, that the things that he has yet to learn are all mental, basically. The belt technique is stuff that you can potentially learn that, but the athleticism, the speed, and the timing he seems to have down pretty much already. I think it's really cool, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch him grow into his own if he does stay healthy, if he does continue as an Ozeki and have success there, to watch how he evolves.
And I think the comment in that r/sumo thread that I mentioned before that I think all of us would agree with the most, by user T-Rex Buttsex.
Very wise.
Wow.
I don't care if a Rikshi farts really hard and the force of the fart launches the other guy out of the dojo as long as he's winning.
I think
I
there's
might care.
definitely
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
I might care,
yeah.
but it's a good point.
We understand what he's getting at.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's definitely winning. I think people should not be like admonished for trying to win and doing what actually wins.
And
100%
winning,
agree with
he's
that.
been doing. Over the past 6 basho, so over the past year of tournaments, he has 63 wins. That's 10.5 per basho, which I didn't look up every single person. I'm pretty sure that's the most in all of sumo over the past 6 basho. He only has one non-double-digit winning basho, and that was 9-6, and that was 4 basho ago at this point. And just to compare that with other top Rikshi, Hakuho over the past 6 basho has only 54 wins. And I'm not saying Takakeisho's better than Hakuho,
Right, but
I'm just saying currently, because Hakuho, his best stretch of 6 basho is 88 wins out of a possible frickin' 90.
Oh yeah, no, but like at the end of the year, people will always talk about like who got the most wins that year.
Yeah.
If we
If
we
this
moved
was the
that
end of the
deadline,
year, Takakeisho wins that.
he's the guy.
Just for comparison, Kakuryu has had 39 wins. His best 6 basho stretch is 71. Goedo has 54 wins the past 6 basho. His best 6 basho stretch is 61, 2 less than Takakeisho's current run. And Takeyasu has had 51 wins, and his best 6 basho stretch is 62, 1 less than Takakeisho's current run.
That's an interesting stat because it sounds like he's on par, like has a 6 basho stat that's on par with an Ozeki promotion, which he got, kind of tied with Goedo.
And it's as good, if not better, than all the current other Ozeki.
But the Yokozuna sounds like how much difference is between his now
Kakuryu
and
had
Kakuryu?
71, so 8 more over 6 basho, and Hakuho is stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hakuho. That
Yeah,
we can't.
You can't. No.
Hakuho had 25 more wins.
He's the outlier in literally everything when you're talking about being good at sumo.
Yeah.
88 wins out of a possible 90. Holy
That was
crap.
4
makes me
straight
laugh.
15-0, and then 2 straight 14-1 all Yusho.
No, that's an interesting stat. I think that's kind of cool.
I'm kind of glad we came into sumo when we did, rather
No
than like
kidding.
8 years ago, because that would be so much more boring talking about results.
Well, Hakuho won.
All right, so we just had 7 straight Hakuho victories for the second time. All right, let's move.
Hey,
Speaking of moving on,
That's a nat 1.
Ooh. Roll to confirm?
I mean, it's not wrong. Sumo wrestling is dumb. It's just fat dudes in diapers.
you uncultured swine.
you monster.
No way.
All right. I really need to get past that all right thing. Next, we've got Tochinoshin Ozeki no more.
No.
Former Ozeki
You
Tochi.
said it.
Yeah.
So sad.
I don't think any of us are happy about that. I think to have Takakeisho replace him kind of softens the blow a little bit, and Tochinoshin will have a chance at 10 wins, as he will be a Sekiwake in the next basho, to regain his Ozeki promotion. Do we think he'll get to 10 wins in Natsu?
Like basically every time we have hypotheticals, if he's healthy.
Yes, that is
Entirely
the only
down to that.
commonality there.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets back into that form, we know he can crush 10 wins out, no big deal. But I think that I am skeptical just because it has been basically a year since he's shown that top form.
Since Natsu last year.
Yeah, I mean, those knees, he just can't sustain the pressure long enough to get his preferred grips for his technical throws and lifts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and people are a lot better at actually getting him away from the belt and playing a oishi pushing style of sumo. instead
Yeah,
of a
I
belt
wonder
battle.
if that has something to do with his injury as well, because maybe that's hampering his ability to get to the Mawashi. But definitely, like you said, people just aren't letting him get there. And as we referenced before, if he's not touching the Mawashi, his odds of winning are far less than if he's got a grip on the
Yeah,
Mawashi.
yeah, he still won some
He
matches that
went
way.
7-8.
Yeah, he can still win matches that way, but like it's definitely his bread and butter is belt sumo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think another thing to keep in mind is the top ranked Rikishi. This basho were pretty healthy for the most part. We had
Uncharacteristically healthy for the past year.
We had like both Ozeki doing very, very well, and both Yokozuna doing really, really well. And so just really a lot tougher competition than it was last year.
I think that in between this basho and the last one, they all did like some sort of Portrait of Dorian Gray style thing, but with ikiyoi.
Oh, you may have something there, Jake.
They
You
just
might
like
be
voodoo
right.
transferred everything that was wrong with their bodies to ikiyoi.
That would explain so many things.
And ikiyoi, the poor dumb bastard, just refused to sit out even
The
one
man
match.
was a walking bandage.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, the other thing I want to say about Tochinoshin is like it's obviously I very much like the guy, but I'm kind of okay and I guess a little happy that he dropped from Ozeki rank because he just hasn't looked like an Ozeki the last couple of basho.
Don't want him to be at a rank he isn't performing at that level of.
It's so much nicer to have Rikishi who are performing and doing really well.
Kind of a smaller scale version of our Kisano Sato dilemma of the last year. You just don't want the guy to, have that rank unless he really deserves it at the time and is really performing up to par.
Once again, we'll say for the 100th time, he deserved a promotion to Yokozuna. When he got it, the injury didn't allow him to perform as a Yokozuna. We have never said Kisano Sato did not deserve.
We're not like getting sued
yeah.
here.
No,
We can have opinions.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
just avoiding people
you're-
coming at us.
You're totally right. You're totally right. But yeah, it's a similar dilemma where you want the guy to do well, but if he's not doing well, it's it's probably better for him to get some of the pressure off too.
Yeah. All right. Let's get
I got a
to.
real problem with that, man.
I really do. Let's get to some.
Okie dokie.
That's how I'm going to start it from now on. Okie dokie, guys. Let's get to
Wow.
some quick notes on the rest of the Sanyaku ranks. We had Kakuryu, who got the Yokozuna Kachikoshi, which is 10-5. Anything else that we want to say about Kakuryu besides fading in the second week against the top competition again?
That.
That definitely.
I just want to mention I think a lot of people kind of looked down upon him coming to this basho, and like he got 10 wins, he got Yokozuna, he still got it.
Wasn't expecting it due to the injuries he had in the previous basho.
What was that?
Just saying, you said they were looking down on him, and I was
saying people on this podcast were looking down on him.
I wasn't
That's why
looking
I'm trying
down
to-
on him.
I'm trying to imply.
I was just saying he's been injured, and if that continues, when is the point where we say, okay, it's time to step back? I never said anything about his quality of sumo, except that it just seems he fades against the top competition in the second week a lot
Yeah,
recently.
and like he also might have to retire, is what you're saying. I'm just saying that.
If
I was,
his injuries had continued, but I get what you're saying.
okay, yeah, exactly.
You referred to him as jerk. What are you supposed to call him?
Yeah.
Yokozuna jerk.
There we go.
Attaboy.
Now,
Thank you so much.
Granted, Kakuryu did get his 10 wins. That's true. He got the Kachikoshi for Yokozuna. But several of them were with a Hakuho smile. Now, those matches being, he knew he should have lost, but he won.
Hey, if the Hakuho smile is good enough for Hakuho, it's good enough for Kakuryu.
Oh, no question there. But would you say that his caliber of sumo is a little shaky?
He won. Not exactly. No, I still think there were definitely some shaky matches, but I think all Rikishi have shaky matches. It wasn't dominating every single match, and if he was doing that, we'd see him have the Yusho this time around, and not.
Or you think he would have beaten Hakuho?
the point I'm trying to say is people have shaky matches. So,
But do Yokozunas have shaky matches?
Yes,
Obviously
they
they do, but like I think there were enough of them that it was...
A little questionable.
And I mean, like, if Hakuho had lost the ones where he had been spun around and they were, like, on a similar level, I mean, the quality of their sumo wasn't drastically different. You know what I mean?
I think it's unfair to compare anybody to Hakuho.
You're right. We got to
Fair-
stop
fair
doing that
point,
in
fair
any
point.
circumstance.
All right, we've gone probably about a half an
Ryan.
hour. I did all right again, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Roll.
Roll the die.
We got an 8. I knew that was going to be on there. I was terrified of it. Go, Pack, go.
One more time?
Go, Pack, go.
There you go.
God.
That's the worst.
My wife says thank you.
You can
That's
just,
the worst.
oh, God, you can see him dying.
Okie dokie. Goedo, 12-3, looked very good in this basho. Lost to Ichinojo, Hakuho, and then some other guy. I don't remember who.
Give me a moment.
Oh, hey, Sumo DB is up. He lost to Daisho.
Fine.
Oh, all right. But still, Goedo looked pretty good. We got anything else to say about Goedo in front of his hometown crowd?
Other than Ryan eating his words a little bit here, I think that I mean it was a very respectable performance, and I think it's I don't know. I mean he is an Ozeki. He's always been very good, but like this seemed to me a little bit like a surprise just seeing him do that well.
yeah, I think it's kind of right to say surprise.
Like we talk crap about
Totally.
the guy, but it still seemed like a bit of a step up for him.
This was literally the first time in his Ozeki career that he's gone 5 straight bashos without a losing record. He did very good, but I just want to point out his history
Don't take this
as
from
an
him.
Ozeki
Don't
in
take this
almost
from him.
6 years. No, I can't say anything bad about him this basho. He looked very
And
good.
you're trying.
Trying so hard.
I'm just trying to say that I don't expect him to continue this level because history's shown he can't or just doesn't. So we'll see if he can continue this impressive sumo into Natsu. We also had Takayasu, who was there, and then we also had Tamawashi, who disappointed following his Yusho win with a 5-10 record.
So Tamawashi was not there.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So much for that Ozeki run.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe I correctly hinted that might happen in the preview episode.
I was also with you on that.
Yes, Mac was also there apparently.
Who?
Yokozuna Mac
Thank you.
also agreed that Tamawashi might have a drop-off in this basho. Anything anymore we got to say about Tamawashi besides, I mean, we kind of knew it.
It was kind of disappointing because, like, you know, when somebody's on a run like that, it's always fun to see how high they can go, and he just kind of crapped the bed this time.
Yeah. He did say that his goal is longevity over getting like a high rank. So
He ain't Ikioi. He ain't Ikioi yet. Ikioi
actually-
is the standard.
Tamawashi is an Iron Man as well that I don't know that Tamawashi has ever missed a match, so we should compare.
I would
Ikioi
love to
versus
tell you.
is Sumo Database down?
Sumo DB is down right now.
When that comes up in 5
Curses.
minutes, we'll have Jake investigate who's had the longest.
Why did
streak.
Wada have to mention that in our chat?
He cursed us.
He cursed it. Thanks, Wada.
Okie dokie, Mitaki. I felt me saying all right, so I
You headed it off
I
at the
headed
pass
it off
with an okie dokie.
with a
knew it was
masterful okie dokie.
Well done, sir.
Mitaki Yumi suffering a 7-8 record from the Komusubi rank. He could very well drop out of the Sanyaku ranks for the first time in over 2 years. Looked like that injury was probably still bugging him. What do we think about Mitaki Yumi?
Stupid.
You wanted him to take time off?
Yes, I wanted him to take time off. He should. Sorry, I'm going back to Hatsu. He should never have come back after he got his Kachikoshi.
7 wins against the top guys, though.
He still did pretty good.
I was gonna say
Can't be
like,
that injured.
if you're gonna come in injured, 7 wins is exactly kind of what you're looking for. 'Cause-
I would argue that 8 wins is exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly.
all right,
Hot take.
very hot take. All right, okay. So I guess what I meant to say is that's a very respectable record for someone who's supposedly hurt.
He was definitely trying to mitigate damage, and I think he did a passable job at that. And yeah, I mean, for his sake, I hope that he, just because of the way the Bansuke shakes out, he may actually hang on to that Komusubi rank.
I would rather see him, though, take this basho off, completely heal, come back in the Junyo, perform well in the Junyo, and then come back in Natsu and totally kick ass.
Well, we'll see who participates in that Jungyo. The 3 people that I would like to see not there, Hakuho, Mitakayumi, Tochinoshin, and Ikioi. 4 people I don't want to see.
For the love of God, Ikioi.
Jesus, Ikioi. And Chiyo-no-Kuni, but we don't really know where he's at.
Yeah, no real news on him. Unfortunately, he's not one of the top guys, so we don't get constant news reports. At least I don't see constant news reports about their health updates.
Maybe if we knew Japanese.
Okay, so how about Hokuto Fuji with a 7-8 record and his Sanyaku debut?
Hot garbage. He's never going to love you, Ryan. You said it yourself. No, I think it's something that you see a lot of times, like when guys get their first Makuuchi basho, and they just get their butts kicked because of the step up. Yeah, it was Komusubi versus Megashira 1 where he's been before. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's facing different guys, but it is definitely a big step up in pressure when you're making a Sanyaku.
Mindset, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. You're the guy that's supposed to be, winning most of your matches and stuff, as opposed to, fighting as an underdog, and that maybe that different mindset played part of it, but I definitely think he'll be back.
Oh, no doubt there.
He had a terrible first week. I don't remember what his record was for the first 7 or 8 days, but he came back in the second week as he faced the lower competition, salvaged a 7-8 record, so his drop down to Bansuke is going to be minimal. He'll have a shot to get right back there in the next basho.
Yeah, and that first week, by the way, Komusubi's
face all the guys ahead.
By definition, basically just get absolutely the worst matches in the first week, and then the second week they can recover. But he did beat most of the guys he was supposed to.
Exactly, yeah. So that Komusubi rank is pretty much exactly where Hokuto Fuji is right now.
Yeah, I could totally see him bouncing up and down between Sekiwake to Megashira 2 for a while until he turns a corner or, something like that.
I think nerves were a big part of it this time. He definitely looked shaky the first couple of days, and maybe part of it was his training that he did, because we know he didn't go up against any Sekitori in the weeks leading up to the basho because he wanted to take it easy. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. I hope not, because I would like to see that sort of training where you're taking it easy and not pushing yourself too hard continue forward. Any other Nishi in the Maegashira ranks we haven't mentioned? Anybody want to tout or bring up?
Big ups to Kota Shogaku with 11 wins.
Holy crap, where did he come from?
Probably his most.
Probably that Ozeki passed.
Oh, that could be it. That definitely.
That's probably where he came from. No, I was impressed with him, not just because of the wins, but because he was getting his classic bumpity bump style going, and it was very effective. Yeah, it was against the middle Megashira ranks, but
he hasn't done that recently. So
exactly. So it was encouraging to see him back in form. He's probably just hitting like a high point in health compared to recent history. But yeah, that was fun to see.
Any other Megashira?
Shout out to Tomokaze. Oh, man.
Great point.
Well done, sir.
Got 9-6 record in his Makuuchi debut at Megashira 13, continuing his streak of no Makekoshis.
And if that turd would have gotten one more win to get that special prize,
we wouldn't have the conversation about who is the true Yokozuna this basho.
But I did still tie for the win, so what's my name, Ryan?
Yokozuna Jake.
That a boy.
I will point out that you 3 all got 2 points to all share the win last time, and you all 3 got 2 points to share the loss last time. The only person who's done any different is me. And if show goes on,
I'm so glad that you're proud of it.
Indeed.
We'll cover that in more detail after the break for sure. But the Ryuden, we didn't mention him.
Oh, yeah.
10
Excellent.
and 5.
He got 10. So did Yoshikaze.
Little surprise. I mean, Yoshikaze has been doing this for the past year or so. He'll get up to Maegashira 5 or 6 and then just get absolutely blasted down to Maegashira in the teens, 12, 13, and then he'll get 10 plus wins and fly back up
Big
the
bounces.
rankings.
My pet theory on this, and same kind of deal for Ikioi, is because both of those guys are getting to their mid-30s and the health issues are piling up. My theory is just that their health has a bigger effect than on some of the younger guys, so that's why they can bounce so big. Or it could just be dumb luck.
Yeah, who knows?
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's a really good point because injuries definitely hurt as you get older a lot more. It
Yeah,
takes a lot
as you get
longer
older,
to-
like
you and Mac
like
would know a
Cleric and
lot
Mac.
more
Yeah,
about
yeah.
this as
Those
our
ancient 30-year-olds,
local old guys.
our resident senior citizens.
Yes.
It's hell getting old.
I've got like 6 months on this one, so I'm just going to play it
Yeah.
up for all it's
You're
worth.
gonna
I've got
It's
over a
great.
year, so I'm good.
Oh, the baby.
Was a little disappointed in Ono Show with this one.
I was very disappointed in the
Well,
show.
okay, very. There you go. But he was overcommitting way too much, and
That's-
it's great to see that he's got the fire and the drive and the energy to fire forward. But you gotta control it, man.
That's been his issue, I think, the entire time.
His MO for sure.
Yeah.
When he first got on the scene and made it up to Komusubi, when he had that shaky first bacho that he eventually came back from, like every single loss that he had against the higher ranked guys is just he got slapped down or something because he was just overcommitted and off balance, and that just seems to be continuing. So hopefully he'll take a tumble down the Bansuke, gain his confidence back up. I fully expect him to get a winning record in the next time, then bounce back up and try to do a little bit better.
Yeah, I really want to get that Onosho Takakeisho lifelong rivalry back in the mix.
Yeah, definitely.
Those guys grew up together. They've been facing off since middle school.
Got one last one. Abi, the heart attack kid. Holy
2-7
crap.
to 8-7. 6 straight wins to close the basho.
Well done pulling it off, man, but you really need to add a little bit more to your arsenal.
Yeah, if you're going to be really good at one thing, be like Takakeisho and be super good at that
Not-
one thing.
Yeah, not just be good at that thing, but be good at making it about that thing.
Yeah.
Because like Abi's not as good at keeping it as a straightforward pushing match. He gets he gets people onto his belt. He gets off to the sides. He gets misdirected.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of times where he's not getting the push that he needs with his thrust, and so he ends up backing up, and he's just trying to dance around the
Which works.
Tawara,
Yeah.
which works sometimes,
That's
but
definitely
it's not
part
going
of
to
it.
work every time.
But that's definitely part of his style. Like
Yeah.
he tries to he plays. That's one of the strengths he tries to play to is able to move like sideways or dance around the Tawara.
Yeah.
and he's got a bunch of wins that way.
Let's move down to Juryo and below. The zensho-yusho goes to Shima Noumi for the second straight time. He was the
Dang.
top-ranked Juryo wrestler, so we will see him firmly entrenched in the Makuuchi rankings next time.
This guy's kind of interesting to me because he just kind of came out of nowhere.
He's 29 years old, isn't he?
He's Sumo DB.
Is it
back
now?
up and running?
All right, after you're done with this, look up Ikioi versus Tamawashi. And
Oh
their-
crap! Let me load those pages real quick while we got this going.
Let me list some other things where you're getting that.
No, I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
Shima Noumi, 29 years old.
Oh, he's older. Okay.
This was his 42nd basho. So he started in 2012. He got up to Makushita, got injured, sat out almost a full year, and then worked his way back up from the bottom. He first got to Juryo in 2016. So 3 years ago, he only had one basho there, spent more time in Makushita, and then he's been back in Juryo solid since the beginning of 2018. Since then, he's just kind of had middling records, and then just busts out 2 consecutive 13-2s out of nowhere.
Yeah, Hatsu, he just destroys from the middle of the pack in Juryo.
Bottom of the pack.
He was at
bottom.
He was
He was
at
like
11 and then 1, and now he's going to be like in the Megashira. Where do you have him? Like
I got a
10 or 12?
Magashira at 8.
8? Nice.
Ooh,
Okay.
Wow, big jump.
Oh, well, I mean, he's 13-2, so that's 11 more wins and losses at the top Juryo rank. So you kind of expect like a jump of 9 to 10, and so Magashira 17 up to Magashira 8. I did some research. There's precedent for that, so I feel pretty comfortable with him in that range.
Cool. Hey, by the way, so I got Ikioi and Tamawashi up. They are both Iron Men, and Tamawashi has seniority.
All right.
So Ikioi has had 84 basho with 0 absences. Tamawashi 91. So only about a year difference, but Tamawashi does have the lead.
Okay.
Fun fact for about 20 minutes ago, whenever we were talking about that.
Yes. Let's go through the rest of the Yusho winners. In Makushita, we had Chura Noumi. He will be back in Juryo, where his only time that he was in Juryo, he went 5-10. The Sandanme Yusho went to Karatsu Umi. This is his 3rd career Sandanme Yusho. So,
That's kind of interesting.
yeah. Jodedan Yusho went to Roga, who beat Terano Fuji in a playoff. Roga, this is just his 2nd career basho, 3rd if you include Maizumo. And he is 14-0 overall, and I guess 15-0 if you include that playoff win over Terano Fuji.
I would put money down that he is probably the quickest person to go from debut to defeating an Ozeki.
Former Ozeki.
That's true. He is.
I believe so.
If anybody can prove me wrong, please do. I'm not going to pay any money.
Yeah.
We've been over this with Ryan recently, but I don't put money down.
No.
Yeah.
But were I to do that,
Yeah.
I will give you some GSB bucks. How about that?
10 whole GSB
10
dollars
whole GSB bucks if you can find an example of somebody beating an Ozeki.
in their second career basho.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's impossible because you can start at Makushita at the earliest, right? Even the 7-0 won't actually get you up to
Right.
Juryo, and Terunofuji was the first Ozeki actually to drop down.
To drop that far, yeah.
I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but I'm willing to bet
here we
that.
go.
But here goes. Way back in the day, I know guys like Raiden. He was like a guy they pull out of the crowd or something like that. You know, like way back in like the 1800s when it was less formalized. So I wonder. I can't imagine that anybody in the modern era could possibly have something like that. But maybe way back in the day.
I like how you're thinking. Yeah, I'm sure everyone wrestled everyone back in the day.
Yeah, just that Wikipedia time that I'm supposed to be working is really paying off here for this 30 seconds.
And finally, the Jonokuchi Yusho went to Terasawa, and this looks like it was his first basho where he was completely uninjured. I think he came in, started, got injured right away, missed a few basho, came back, and now this is his first basho where he was uninjured. Other guys that were in the lower ranks, Enho, our beautiful baby boy, went
Sweet baby boy.
went 8-7 at Juryo 2 with a lot of people that did poorly at the bottom of the Makuuchi ranks. We could see Makuuchi debut Enho in Natsu.
Little orphan
cannot
Enho.
wait.
Little orphan, adorable Enho.
You thinking M16?
We'll get there. I'm thinking M14. The bottom of Makuuchi and the top of Juryo is a goddamn mess.
But we definitely know of somebody who's coming back up with the big belly, baby.
And who would that be, Mac?
Wait, pardon?
Who would that be, Yokozuna Mac?
Thank you.
I'm so
That'd
used
be-
to not losing that it's very hard for me to slip into calling people
My
Yokozuna.
boy's coming back to me. Chiyomaru, I missed you, baby.
Chiyomaru, the second-ranked guy in Juryo, had a 10-5 record, so we will 100% see him in Makuuchi in the next basho.
I was going to say that Makuuchi's about to get a whole lot rounder, but Enho's coming up, so it's probably going to be
It's gonna even out.
It's going to be the same. Yeah, it'll be the same roundness.
Yep.
But the smiling, the cherub smile is just
There will
gonna
certainly be an
amazing.
increase in cheek.
Old man Aminishiki,
He's still kicking.
he's still kicking. He started off 0-4. We thought he might be going down to Makushita after another poor basho, and the old guy pulls out a Kachikoshi to stick around Juryo again and stave off retirement if he wants to. I actually saw some comments that he made through Twitter via @sumofollower saying that sounds like Aminishiki is somewhat pondering retirement despite having the winning record.
Oh, okay. I was just surprised that apparently Omnishki has a Twitter.
No.
Okay.
It was some
That's impressive for
interview
old man.
from a news report in Japanese that @sumofollower knows Japanese, so they can read it and share the contents of those news reports with us, which is the only way I get any news.
I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to hang it up. I'm not exactly sure what he's wrestling for now. He beat Takakaze, who is kind of his peer as well. So
We know he wanted to face Hakuho one more time, but at this point, I think he's got to realize that's
That's gonna be tough.
not likely to happen.
yeah. So I won't be surprised. I guess I'll be a little bit sad. I guess I kind of want to see how long he can keep on going. And so I would like to see him kind of continue.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely not out of the question. I'd say it's probably more likely that he comes back at this point than retires. But I know absolutely nothing about this guy, so that my opinion means nothing.
Yeah, I know he has a lot of records for like longevity. So the longer he keeps in, the higher they go. So I would like to kind of see those get really high.
And the other guys that we follow in the lower divisions, Hoshoryu at Makushita 7, his highest career rank, started off 1-3, came back with 3 straight wins to get another winning record and preserves his streak of never having a Makekoshi.
Yep, he got 4-3 from Makushita 7. Only 6 guys above him got winning records. He's not going to Juryo this time,
Right.
But he is definitely going to be moving up to maybe Makushita like
3,
2 to
4.
5, somewhere in there. And there, he will definitely be in position to go to Juryo if he can pull off 5-6 wins or something like
Yep.
that next time. So it could be within the year that we see a Juryo Hoshoryu.
That would be very nice.
His rival, Naya, is catching up with a 6-1.
Ooh, impressive.
He fought in the Battle of 6-0s in Makushita, so he was one match away from getting the Makushita Yusho, but he lost his final match against the Yusho winner in Makushita. What was his name? Chura Noumi. So Naya very close to that Makushita Yusho, but he will be rocketing up those rankings in Makushita. Musashi Kuni in Makushita as well, I believe at 42. Unfortunately, he went 3-4, so he'll see a small drop down the rankings. And Waka Ichiro at the bottom of the Sandanme rankings, unfortunately, also had a 3-4 record, so we will expect to see him in Jonidan in the next basho.
It's all right. He'll come back.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's bounced up to Sandanme a couple times, hasn't quite made it stick, but it seems like every time it's getting a little bit better. He's growing. He's going to make it stick eventually.
And making its triumphant return is the news desk. Let's go over to Fleric at the news desk.
Go over to who?
Yeah, who?
Yokozuna Fleric.
But before we get over to the news,
Yeah.
will you tell us what the dice hold?
Mac, what does that say?
18.
Well, waffles are better than pancakes, and I eat them with strawberry jelly.
Oh man, I could hear your voice starting to crack there.
Yeah.
Waffles are good. They're not better than pancakes. And I eat my waffles with peanut butter and syrup. Thank you very much.
If you were to eat it with jelly, though, it wouldn't be strawberry. Would
Well,
it?
they used to have waffles, like
remember those.
WAF-FULLS,
Those were
that
the
were
best.
filled with jelly. And I think I had quite a few with strawberry jelly. And I was a fat kid when I was in middle school. So the disgusting thing that I would do, I would take 3 waffles and put peanut butter in between each layer. So I had a triple-decker
Stop.
peanut butter waffle
you were
sandwich.
not
my
alone. My favorite thing was actually getting Eggo waffles and like putting peanut butter and jelly.
I need you guys to stop.
It was the best thing ever.
Oh my god.
All right, Fleric, you're at the news desk. Do you got this or you want me to handle it?
I actually.
Who was that?
Do you have Eggo waffles, Jake?
I don't right now, but I need this podcast to wrap up so I can go to the store.
All right, sorry, Yokozuna Fleric.
There you go.
Right, you are. No, I think you got this one.
Okay, perfect. The Yokozuna Deliberation Council can't go a single Hakuho Yusho win without criticizing the Dai Yokozuna. This time for conducting a Sanban Jime after his Yusho speech, and a Sanban Jime for those of you like all of us who have no idea what that is a Japanese custom where people celebrate the end of an event by clapping. It's a triple series of 3 claps plus 1 at the end, and I believe a Sanban Jime is where you do that 3 times in a row.
and heaven forbid anyone clap.
Well, I think it's because Hakuho did it at the end of his Yusho speech, and I think he was doing it for the end of the Heisei era and the end
Just
of...
kind of maybe overstepping his bounds in etiquette.
I think
guess.
it's because it signifies the end of an event, and his Yusho speech wasn't the end of the event. There's like some other ceremonies. I think like the macaroon presentation is after that, and apparently they throw a gyoji at the end of the basho.
Yeah, it's a Gyoji Olympics. It's
Yeah.
very traditional.
I'm pretty sure that Kaisei is the current record holder for the long distance gyoji throw.
And also the shortest distance of anyone throwing him.
Yes, exactly. So apparently many fan letters were received by the Yokozuna Deliberation Council about this that were people complaining, and apparently it's bad enough that he's going to get another reprimand from the Japanese Sumo Association.
In less than 24 hours, how many letters could he have received?
Yeah, this sounds great. There's I got another quote from him where it said, like, even though he was Yusho winning Rikshi, some members felt that he was not in a position to do that. We were surprised to hear that the whole stadium resonating with the hand clapping. So apparently there are many letters written in, but the whole stadium was going along with it.
Maybe the people at home in front of their TVs were just infuriated that they missed the Gyoji toss because they thought the event was over because they heard the Sanban Jime.
That obviously must be it. I just feel like if the whole stadium is clapping along, they're a little bit kind of out of touch.
Yeah, I think Hakuho is going to take this very seriously and apologize profusely, and then throw this letter with the rest of his official reprimands underneath his 42 Emperor's Cups.
Yeah, which he can lift none of at this point.
Currently, no.
And with that, we will take a quick break and come back with a quick highlight of where we think the Bansuke will look like. And just
Not so fast. Pick up that die.
Mac, what does that say?
6.
That's mean.
Yes, it is.
Bubbles is cuter than Piper, and Mac's wife, Carolyn, can have both of my cats.
Would you mind elaborating who Bubbles and Piper are?
Bubbles is Jake's dog, is Yokozuna Jake's dog, and Piper is my adorable little baby girl.
Yeah, who is, at best, the second cutest dog, according to what you just said.
And whose wife can
I
take your
believe
cats?
I clearly said Mac's wife, Carolyn.
Now, hold
Yokozuna, Mac's wife, Carolyn.
Okay, now I know.
Can have both of my little boys, Renly and Teddy, and I believe you will have a fight on your hands with my wife, Gabby, if you try to take her babies away from her.
Oh, no, Gabby's coming too.
My baby is the cutest. We'll be right back.
The Sumo Vault opens once again to bring you this timeless classic, The Violence of the Limbs.
Morning.
Morning, Yokozuna Kakuryu. My name is Agent Enho. May I speak with you?
You're one of Hakuho's, aren't you?
I am, yes.
May I see your credentials?
Certainly.
That expires in one basho. You're not real Makuuchi, are you?
I am still in training at the Heya.
Hakuho sent a trainee to me?
I'm in Jurio. I'm here to learn from you.
That is rather slippery of you, Agent Enho.
Did you do all those drawings, Yokozuna?
Ah, that is the Ryogoku Kokugi-kan. You've seen my last Yusho?
All that detail just from memory, sir?
Memory, Agent Enho, is what I have, my favorite view.
Well, perhaps you'd care to lend us your view. With some Keiko, sir.
No, you were doing so well. You'd been courteous and receptive to courtesy. You'd built trust. But now this ham-handed segue into your training, it won't do.
I'm only asking you to help with technique. Either you will or you won't.
Ah, Hakuho must be very busy indeed if he's recruiting help from the lower divisions. Busy hunting that new one, Tamawashi. Why do you think he breaks their elbows, Agent Enho?
It excites him. Most Yusho winners have some sort of signature moves that they use on their victims.
I didn't.
No, you use lots of pulling techniques.
Oh, Agent Enho, you think you can dissect my techniques with this blunt little banter?
No, I thought that your knowledge...
You're so ambitious, aren't you? You know what you look like to me, with your dull mawashi and brand new top knot. You look like Makushita. Short, high-speed Makushita with a little technique. Good Chanko has given you a bit of weight, but you're no more than one generation from skinny non-athletes, are you, Agent Enho? And how quickly you found sumo. Your only dream was of getting big, getting all the way to Makuuchi.
You see a lot, Yokozuna. But can you point that high-powered perception at yourself? Why don't you look at yourself and teach me what you can do? Or maybe you're afraid to.
Megashira once tried to test me. I slapped him down and actually smiled on the dohyo. You fly back to Jurio now, little ping. Fly, fly, fly. Fly, fly, fly.
Coming soon to Scotty Karate's bootleg DVD stands near you.
Okie dokie, welcome back. It is time for my favorite part of the podcast.
You're going to roll a die!
My least favorite part of anything ever. What is that?
That is a 9.
That is a 9. Yuri on Ice is a superior anime to Dragon Ball Z.
Hot take there, Ryan.
You shut your mouth.
Why don't you tell us what Yuri on Ice is, the
Yuri
anime
on
that you
Ice.
find more entertaining than
My
Dragon Ball Z?
favorite anime, as it is superior to Dragon Ball Z, is about gay figure skaters.
It is certainly our collective wives' favorite anime.
And mine.
He's really
correct.
And yours. Oh,
And yours,
right,
yes,
because
correct,
it's
and
above
yours.
DBZ, so it has to be.
He's
yeah.
actually sharing his true thoughts on this right now.
That one, actually, we didn't write down. That one was unprompted.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys just let me share my true feelings there and just completely ignored.
Ryan, if there's anything you can take away from this, we're here for you. You can just
I
be
don't
yourself.
believe that in the slightest.
Good man.
Let's get to the predicted Bansuke. Yokozuna, no changes there. Ozeki Goedo is going to be your top Ozeki, with Takakeisho replacing Tochinoshin. Sekiwake, we are going to have, I believe, Ichinojo jumping up from Maegashira 4, and Tochinoshin will be the West Sekiwake.
You want to talk about the number of Sekiwake?
Yeah, I can do that. So I was pondering on Twitter if there was going to be a third Sekiwake slot opened up for Tochinoshin, because as far as we knew, and because I hadn't done any research on it, every time that we had seen an Ozeki drop from Ozeki to Sekiwake, there was a third Ozeki slot opened up.
That was
being
for Koto Shogaku and Terunofuji.
Terunofuji. But that is not always the case. We got some help from the aforementioned Wata on this. I'm trying to find the thread on Twitter where we discussed this quite a bit. But yeah, it just so happened that kind of were forced to have a third Sekiwake slot there because of the performance of the other Sekiwake or the Komusubi. Just kind of forced a third Sekiwake slot the previous two times. Like almost every other time an Ozeki was demoted since 2000, they didn't open up a third or Sekiwake slot. They just had the two Sekiwake.
So they did the third slot because they couldn't demote the other two because they both did well enough.
Yes.
The two that we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that if you have a winning record, you usually keep your ranking, never go down. And so to drop a Sekiwake down would just
And
not be
also the
fair.
Ozeki wouldn't drop any further than Sekiwake.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I'll just go through what happened with like Koto Shogaku and Terunofuji. So when Koto Shogaku dropped, Takayasu went 11-4 at Komusubi East, so he needed to be promoted for that. And only one Sekiwake was Makekoshi, so the other Sekiwake had to stick around there. So they needed a third spot so they weren't holding down Takayasu, let him jump up, and then the other one obviously couldn't go down, so you needed a third Sekewake. And then when Terunofuji dropped, both Sekewake had Kachikoshi, so you're not going to demote either one of them, so you needed the third slot. This time, we had Takakeisho going up to Ozeki, so that's one Sekewake slot open. We have Tamawashi 5 and 10 record going to be dropping out of Sanyaku. That's two Sekewake slots open, so you can easily just shift Tochinoshin in there, and then Ichinojo with that 14 and 1 record can jump up there. You really... Aoyama went 12 and 3 from Maegashira 7. That's really not enough justification to jump him all the way up to Sekewake from Maegashira 7. Komusubi's good enough for him. So I firmly believe we're just going to have the two Sekewake slots.
Who you got for
That'd
your
be
other Komusubi?
So got Aoyama, like I said, it's going to be Komusubi East. Could be Koto Shogaku. I'm just going to slide Mitake Yumi over to Komusubi West.
I was wondering about that.
I was curious too.
Really, Koto Shogaku is the only one that deserves that big of a jump. He had that 11 and 4 record, but that came all the way down at Maegashira 8.
Yeah, that's a
So
long ways away.
I think Maegashira 1's good enough, and Mitake Yumi just had that 7 and 8 record from Komusubi, and I don't know if they give the benefit of the doubt, but since he's been in the Sanyaku ranks for so long, I wonder if they do just give him that benefit of the doubt and he just slides over. Who knows? It's not unprecedented. And then my joy, I've got Koto Shogaku, Hokuto Fuji dropping from
Koto
Komusubi.
Shogaku is your joy.
Yeah.
Yes. Hokuto Fuji dropping from Komusubi to Maegashira 1. Chiro Tairyu jumping up from Maegashira 5 to Maegashira 2 with that 8 and 7 record. Endo only dropping one spot to Maegashira 2 from Maegashira 1. He had a 7 and 8 record. Daisho also had a 7 and 8 record. I've got him dropping one spot from Maegashira 2 to 3.
That's some really weird, inconsistent jumps for the 7 and 8s and the 8 and 7s. Is that just because of the way things shook out with lots of people having
Chio
really bad records?
Tairyu, there was... I could have dropped like Tamawashi there, but he went 5 and 10, so I think he's got to drop a little bit further than Maegashira 2. And then he was 8 and 7, and the next closest person with a winning record that would warrant a big jump is Ryuden, who was Maegashira 10 with a 10 and 5. So I didn't want to jump him up 8 slots.
It's just kind of a wonky one.
Yeah, it's just kind of wonky. And then Maegashira 3, I do have Tamawashi there, sliding from Sekiwake with a 5 and 10 record. And then the last one to fill out the Joy at Maegashira 4 East, I've got Oki no Umi, who jumped up 2 slots from Maegashira 6. And then, as I mentioned, the bottom of the Bansuke is just pure and utter garbage. Literally everybody below Maegashira 13 had a losing record. But
So 7 guys, the last 7 guys all had losing records?
yes, and then top of Juryo didn't really do too many favors. We know Shimano Umi, Chiyomaru, top 2 guys, both had double-digit records. They're going in. Juryo 2 West, which was Enho, had an 8 and 7 record. So borderline needing to move up to Makuuchi. And then you had to go to like Juryo 4, where you had somebody with a 9 and 6 record. And then I think down to Juryo 5, where you had somebody with an 8 and 7 record. So it's not a whole lot of guys needed to jump up, but you got a whole lot of guys needed to jump down. So kind of what bends there. I've got a total of 4 guys jumping up. I got Shimano Umi, like I said before, going to Maegashira 8. I've got Chiyomaru going to Maegashira 13. I've got Enho going to Maegashira 14. And Tokushoryu going to Maegashira 15. Dropping out, Ikioi, who was at Maegashira 9, had that 2 and 13 record. He's borderline. So the guys that I think need to drop out, Chio no Kuni, missed the entire basho, Maegashira 12. He's gone no matter what. Yu Takayama had a 3 and 12 record for Maegashira 16. He's gone no matter what. Those are the only 2 guarantees. I think there could be anywhere between 2 to 5, and it would make complete sense to me, like drop downs and pull ups. I landed at 4. So, like I said, Ikioi going down, Chio no Kuni, Yu Takayama, and then the last one, I flip-flopped a couple of times between Toyo Noshima, who was Maegashira 15, I believe, with a 5 and
14.
Maegashira 14 with a 5 and 10 record, or Chiyoshoma, who was the last Maegashira with a 7 and 8 record. I decided I was just going to leave Chiyoshoma where he is.
He's got to go down, right?
It's not unprecedented for guys to just stay completely in the same spot on the Bansuke.
Even with a losing record?
Yeah, I think
Everybody else around you.
I think
has a
Toyo
losing
Noshima.
record.
Yeah, I think Toyo Noshima with a 5 and 10 record deserves demotion more than Chiyoshoma with a 7 and 8 record. And if we were to drop both of them, we would have to pull up Taka Genji from Juryo 5 with an 8 and 7 record.
That's
So-
a heck of a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's a combination
you
of a lot of these guys should go down, but there's just not as many guys to pull up, and so I don't know what the balance is going to be.
Do you think it could
between
be
them.
a 10-5? That's pretty bad.
It's going to be a fun learning experience to see what actually
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I actually feel
Definitely.
really good about this Bansuke up until Maegashira 13, and then it's just all crap.
Hot garbage, as
Yeah.
Slick would say.
I bet the people deciding the Bansuke are going to be thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's going to be
Wow, look at all this crap.
What the hell do we do
no matter
here?
what happens, there's going to be some very lucky people at the bottom of Makuuchi. Either people that should have dropped further than they did, or people that got promoted way further than they should have.
Looking at you, Ishiura.
Yeah, Ishiura, Terutsuyoshi.
Koto Eiko and Daishoho.
Yep. Let's move on to the next thing, which is our prediction results, which I think everybody knows at this point that
you need to roll the die.
Ryan, lost to Yokozuna Mac, Yokozuna Fleric, and Yokozuna Jake.
Right, you are.
That is a 16. Smash that like and subscribe button.
That hurt to listen to
Even
even.
Grand Sumo Breakdown. Smash that like and subscribe button to get notifications of our upcoming videos.
Oh no, he's broken.
Oh, no.
For context, we haven't made jokes about that one because it is so grating but that is
hate
like
it.
our collective worst pet peeve about podcasts.
Not just
and,
smash that like and subscribe button. Smash.
Yeah, got that one from your wife. She helped
Yeah.
us with the spelling.
Ring that bell to get I think it's ring the bell to get
Oh, God,
notifications.
stop.
Ow.
It's not funny anymore.
We have an 11.
This one's going to be real
Oh,
hard.
this is bad.
Let's hear it.
This is all lies. But as a man of my word, I will say these three things. I know less about WWE wrestling than Yokozuna Jake. Less about gaming than Yokozuna Mac. Actually, that one might be. Well, it depends. That one's
Later,
borderline.
later.
Keep moving.
And less. This is just so stupid and ridiculous. And I know less about NFL football than Yokozuna Flerick.
That one felt good.
And I know a
one was
lot.
great.
Okie dokie.
Let's do one more since this is the official prediction result Oh, yeah. We already talked about who all won, so we don't need to go over the points and crap. That is a 10. I am the Hattori Zakura of this podcast. Yokozuna Mac, Yokozuna Flerick, and Yokozuna Jake. Drive the bus.
That one is a little merciful, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that one's okay.
Not quite as hard to say.
It wasn't, but it's still mean-spirited and hurtful.
Hattori Zakura, by the way, is like the oh man, I feel
Fight on,
really
little
bad for him, but he's
samurai. Fight
he's the little samurai, the guy that's been in it for years, but like only has like 5 or 6 wins, but he's just doing it because he's passionate.
like 2 or 3. I think 3 at this
Don't
point.
need to do any research, Flerick. He went 0-7 this basho.
I know.
Ah, poor guy. All right,
Fun
okay,
facts.
Sorry, not all right.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. It's time to move on to the fun fact segment. And as I love the number 42 so much, and Hakuho just got to Yokozuna Yusho. Well, not Yokozuna Yusho, just Yusho win number 42.
You don't have to call everyone Yokozuna.
I'm just, it's so ingrained in my mind now. I've got some facts about the number 42. 42 is the atomic number of molybdenum, which is also the 42nd most abundant element.
Okay.
Okay,
Hence
that
the
one.
name 42.
You got me there. That one.
Okay.
That one got cooler as it went on.
42% of the London Underground is actually underground. On page 4, these are all
I was going to
unverified, but I believe them.
Okay.
I
you
didn't do
found them-
research to confirm them, but I do believe they're all factually correct.
Did you find them on the Wikipedia page for 42?
I did not. I found them on some forum. I think it was a Team Fortress 2 forum for some reason.
I was going to guess a Hitchhiker's Guide for
That's what I was thinking.
No. On page 42 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone for all the non-American heathens, Harry learns that he is a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Teddy Roosevelt was 42 when elected president. Cell 42 in Alcatraz was home to Robert Stroud, who was transferred there in 1942, and after murdering a guard, he received 42 years of solitary. Elvis Presley died at age 42. A single Big Mac has 42% of the recommended daily intake of salt. In one episode of The Simpsons, Chief Wiggum wakes up to a question and answers 42.
Are you going to... Do you have 42 facts and
I
you're
have
just going to
2
keep
more
going
facts.
until... Okay.
Thank you for
Just a
correcting.
wee bit more of patience, Yokozuna Jake. Jackie Robinson, the first African-American to play Major League Baseball, had the jersey number 42. And finally, 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
There we go.
I was waiting for that.
Which
one.
is the only reason I did facts about 42, so I can sneak that on in
I
there.
thought your favorite number was 7.
My favorite number is 7.
That's what I thought.
But I like 42 because it's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Jake, I think you got a couple... Yokozuna Jake, I think you got a couple of fun facts.
I don't know if it can top Ryan's cadence saying life, the universe, and everything.
And everything.
I was just looking up some playoffs because we were going into day 15 with a potential playoff, and I came across the career of the number 38th Yokozuna, which I had memorized and just needed to think about for a moment. The 38th Yokozuna, Teru Kuni. He was a Yokozuna during the 30s and 40s, retired in 1953. At the time, he was the youngest man promoted to Yokozuna. But the most notable story from his career came when he was an Ozeki in May of 1942. There was a 3-way tie after day 15 between Ozeki Teru Kuni, Ozeki Aki no Umi, and all-time great Yokozuna Futabayama. There was a 3-way tie at 13-2, and at that point, there were no playoffs. There was not a system for playoffs. So Futabayama just got the win. Because he was the higher ranked, he was Yokozuna, he just got that championship awarded to him, despite Terokuni actually defeating him in their individual match.
I am very
like
angry
it.
for this man.
I'm angry 70 years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But as a bit of a consolation, Akinoumi and Terokuni were both simultaneously promoted to Yokozuna after that basho.
Yeah, I believe back in the day there used to be actually no Yusho winners at all. They would just get together, do sumo. Like, well, that was fun.
Well, that was the case up until like the early 1900s.
Yes.
And that's kind of when they finalized that. So this was like an official championship win that was just awarded based on the merit that he was already a Yokozuna.
Yeah.
So
it kind of seems harking to the old days where they just kind of did sumo for.
yeah,
the
and
sake
it
of
was
sumo.
sumo for the sake of sumo, not for the sake of the statistics and the wins and all that. Yeah.
Which, if it wasn't for wins and statistics and all that, I don't think we'd care that much.
Another good fun fact, because before they, I think during the early 1900s, they were trying to try out some different things, and so they used to have like the East versus West, and like they used to have like competitions, and whichever side won the most at the end of it, or at the end of the day, won the whole basho or something like that. They used to care a lot more about that for maybe one basho, and then they decide that was silly and decide to go with Yusho wins.
To wrap up Terokuni's story, he was promoted, like I said, after that June Yusho. So he was promoted without any official tournament wins, and it would be 8 years before he got 2 consecutive tournments.
He earned that Yokozuna promotion.
At the end of 1950 and the beginning of 1951, he finally earned that Yokozuna promotion.
Did he retire immediately after?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
So, but because he retired after a basho and somebody else was promoted at that same time, technically there were 5 Yokozuna at that time. And that is the only occasion where that has been the case.
We got close. We had 4. And then they all got injured.
And
now we have 2.
Then everybody fell apart.
Then more too.
He went on to be a coach and passed on. He passed away before retirement, but he had adopted as his son another sumo wrestler who took over as coach of his stable. And that is the extent that Wikipedia has on Terokuni.
There was your bonus episode about Yokozuna Terokuni.
No, there's definitely more out there, but that's what I was able to glean in that story that about the playoff is how I came across him. The other fun fact I have is the somewhat obscure Kimarite Katatsukashi.
How can it be so obscure? We saw it multiple times.
I was about to say, like, wait a minute. I noticed
7 times. Yeah.
It was 7 times?
Yeah, there was more of those than, or maybe 8, but it was more than there were Yori Taoshis, which is kind of
Frontal crush out, yeah.
Yeah, so the Katatsukashi is wrapping 2 hands around the opponent's arm, both grasping the opponent's shoulder and forcing them down. So kind of like
Cool.
kind of like a judo throw where you are holding both of your arms on your opponents and then twisting them down.
Yeah, I think I definitely remember Ishira getting handed one of those.
It's one that it's not like it's super rare, like that weird twisting back body drop that Ura did like a year or two ago, but it's one that you don't often see in like the top 10 of the basho. So I thought it was worth looking up. It was kind of a weird one.
Okie dokie. I've got... Every time I feel the urge to say all right,
You're catching
okie
yourself
dokie
this
now.
time.
I
It's
am.
going to be gone by the next time we record.
So
I hope
it
not.
Definitely will be.
Keep it coming.
So I had this quiz prepared to determine, as a tiebreaker, to determine the winner of this prediction series, but you guys
There you go.
suck.
You got there.
So
You mean Yokozuna, you guys?
Yokozuna, you guys all suck. But I put time and effort into this, so we're going to do it anyway.
Will you please roll a die first?
Yeah.
That was not a roll. Roll again.
You're getting more aggressive every time.
It's because it sucks worse every time. That's a 12. I find my wife's stories about work very boring.
He said that with a smile.
Yes, you did.
I finally am not lying to myself. I love you, Gabby.
You're just really gambling that she's going to run out of patience before she gets to that point.
Like she's going to listen to this episode.
It's okay. I got the timestamp written down here.
Okay, so here is the contest that I was going to use. It is a simple contest of guessing the number. It is whoever is closest to the number. No Price is Right rules where it's the closest without going over. And I'm not going to narrow it down to 2 after the first question because it's not really for anything. So we're just going to do it for funsies.
42.
No.
Okay.
Under.
No. So we all know that Kodo Shogiku is the king of the bumpity bump or the hug and chug, resulting in a vast amount of Yorikiri wins. How many Yorikiri wins does Kodo Shogiku have
Like in his career?
in his career?
500.
220.
321.
The winner of this one would be Fleric. He has 445 career
Jesus.
Yorikiri wins.
Yikes.
What did I win? Wait. Who? Who was correct?
Yokozuna Fleric.
Dang. There you go. That was good enough.
And the loser of this would have been Yokozuna Jake. So he would have been out of the running of the contest to see who the ultimate winner was.
Just for the record, I looked him up now because it's post asking question. He only has 778 career wins, so that's substantially more than half.
Yes.
Wow.
So now it was going to be a best 2 out of 3 on these final questions between the final 2 people, but now it's just 3
go for it.
questions.
Yeah.
I go for it.
As we all know, there are 6 divisions of sumo wrestling in Japan, and each division has a different amount of rikishi. How many rikishi were listed on the Bansuke in the Jonidan division this basho? We'll start with Yokozuna Jake.
45.
Yokozuna Mac.
I'm going to say 58.
Yokozuna Fleric.
80.
Yokozuna Fleric takes it again. There were 212 rikishi in the Jonidan division. There are 106 Jonidan ranks.
Good
I was
Lord.
going to say,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure one of those lower ranks is just
Oh.
a bunch.
Well,
I know
Sandanme
Jonokuchi-
has 100.
I was
Jonidan has 106. Jonokuchi has like 20-some, and Makushita
Yeah.
has 60.
Yeah, I was mixing it up. Jonokuchi is the small one.
Yep.
Dang.
So Fleric's up 2-0 on you. Yokozuna Fleric is up 2-0 on you guys.
On this pointless quiz, I know.
Yokozuna, you guys.
Shut up. It is very important to remember the past, especially in a sport as steeped in history as sumo wrestling. So we should remember the accomplishments of those who came before us. How many Yusho did the 35th Yokozuna Futabayama win? We'll start with Yokozuna Mac.
The 35th Yokozuna.
Futabayama, how many Yusho did he win? Including that one he stole from Terukuni and that other guy.
Dastardly.
Oh,
I'm going to say 7.
Fleric.
I have it open. Same guy.
Were you looking him up?
Okay, so Yokozuna Jake. Fleric will be excluded from this one.
What did you say?
I said 42.
I'm going to go with what I thought he said before. 4.
The winner of this one would be Mac. He had 12 total Yusho wins.
Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't actually
What did you
understand
look
what
up?
you're saying.
Did you accidentally cheat by giving me the wrong number?
Probably.
Dang, we need
That is not unlike
cheat
Fleric.
better, Yokozuna Fleric.
No, I thought you were talking about the guy who just got awarded the issue that Jake was talking about.
No, when I said
No, he
35th
took.
Yokozuna Futabayama, I was referring to the 35th Yokozuna Futabayama.
Okay.
He took one of the Yushos from the guy we were talking about.
Yeah.
All right, our final
Let's move on.
question for Yokozuna, you guys.
I love it.
For many Rikshi, reaching the Makuuchi division will be the pinnacle of their career. And even though they may not ever enter the Sanyaku ranks, they have still achieved an impressive accomplishment. How many Rikshi have a career high rank of Maegashira? We'll start with Yokozuna Fleric. This goes back, I dated this
Pretty far.
from Sumo Database all the way back to like the 1700s when it started.
I was going to say 2000.
2000. Yokozuna Jake.
1400.
Yokozuna Mac.
1778.
This one goes to Yokozuna Jake. There are 886
Oh, wow.
Rikshi with a career high of Maegashira. So this doesn't count anybody who ever touched the Sanyaku ranks.
Oh.
So I don't know how many
I
Rikshi
gotcha.
total that would be.
I wish I was in Sherbrooke now.
So with a final score of 2-1, Fleric, you could have been the sole Yokozuna of this episode.
But then I'd be robbed the whole sharing this Yokozuna rank with everyone to just make fun of you.
Sharing is BS. Winning is everything. I hate you all.
You know what else is everything? Losing.
And
Roll
speaking
that
of
die.
losing, roll.
We got 19. You know what I hate, you guys?
What's that?
America.
What?
How dare
way.
you?
I'm going to move to that Canada. I've almost got a passport.
Almost. You better get on that.
I was about to say, man, you really need to get on that.
Okie dokie. It's time for Fantasy and ELO. Our fantasy results are a lot better than the prediction series
But
results.
what do they mean, Ryan?
They mean that I, Ryan, won fantasy. And that also means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of
Correct.
things. Our guest at Zuto Akogare finished with a respectable 53 points, beating not only Yokozuna Flairk, who had 51 points, but also the embarrassing performance put forth by Yokozuna Jake with 35 points. And
Let's move on, shall we?
The runner-up was Yokozuna Mac with 63 points.
Yo.
I think the important takeaway here is that I have won my first career sole title of fantasy winner. The
know
only
what?
other time I won, Jake and I tied.
That is true.
We can have you graduate to Joni Don Ryan.
Yeah.
As far as our ELO rankings, our
Hold on. Before we got that, we did get a comment from our
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, go ahead.
person who joined us at Zuto Akogare. She said that, I have it right here in front of me, that
Stalling.
she loved the experience, would love to do it again if we need an extra member. We always need an extra member, just better win that contest, and hopefully she won't be in Papua New Guinea for half of the basho next time. Hope you had fun in Papua New Guinea.
So
Lucky.
how can somebody join us for our next fantasy contest?
I'm glad you asked, Yokozuna Jake. Very similar to what we did for this basho, where we asked for puns based on movie titles. We like that so much. We think you guys have a lot more in you. So we're going to go with something slightly different. Puns based on songs or bands. Something, I know we have some that we've already made ourselves. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head.
But they were good.
Mitaki Metallica.
Yeah, Mitaki Metallica. You cannot use Diamami Mia. That has been used for the movie section. It will be eliminated from consideration for the songs/bands.
But that is pretty good.
But it is a good one.
pretty dang good. So yeah, we will put out on Twitter this contest probably a couple of times in case people miss it the first 2 times. And we look forward to seeing your submissions for this one.
Also out for related to Diamami Mia is the Swedish band that put that song out, Abi,
Yes,
Oh,
of
yes.
course.
with 2 B's.
Obviously. What else would
He didn't look that-
obviously.
Yeah, he didn't look that
Oh,
up,
dang.
but he's just assuming there's probably a song out there like that.
So for our ELO rankings, the arbitrarily mathematical way that I determine who's good and who isn't, we have I set this system up so the average Rikshi in the top division has a rating of 1,000, and above 1,100 is where we kind of consider you absolute elite. Hakuho, to 0 people's surprise, is the leader here with pretty much all time, and by all time I mean going back to the beginning of 2017 when we started this,
Which is the only important
Of
starting
course, of
point.
course.
the entirety of human history that counts. It's pretty much an all-time high. He got 1,189. Wow. And that, for reference, second place is 1,132. So
He's good at the sumo.
he's an outlier in everything that has to do with being good at sumo. So yeah, that was Goedo at 1132, Ichinojo at 1119, and Takakeisho at 1113. Those were the guys that managed to break through that 1100 barrier. And the biggest gainer of the entire basho would be Ichinojo. He gained 118 points. That is the best in our records. Second place in that was actually Tochinoshin when he won his Megashira Yusho, but he only gained 114 points. Towards the bottom, we have all the guys that are moving down. Their scores reflect that. The biggest loser overall was Ikioi, losing at 94 points.
Yeah.
Also
Sounds
a
about right.
record. Yeah. Breaking records and Ikioi's bones.
Okie dokie, Yokozuna Mac. Let's do the GSB awards. Saying okie dokie every time really highlights how often I just go with, all right, Yokozuna Mac.
Yes.
Let's start those GSB awards.
Alrighty. I can do it because you can't. The first award is the Fat Man Flying Award. This goes to Ishiura, who on day 15 realized his true calling to be a bird, and Takara Fuji happily obliged him. He wound up in the second row of the audience with that throw, which Takarafuji doesn't throw people. Where the heck did that come from?
Well, it really wasn't a throw. It was kind of Ishiura was pushing all of his substantially small amount of weight against Takarafuji, and Takarafuji just kind of slipped to the side, and Ishiura just ran straight off the dohyo.
It was a very excellent Olay.
Yes.
He just wanted to meet some fans and sign some
Roll them
autographs
over.
while
At
he was
high
out there.
speed.
Yes.
I love you.
He's
Crash.
probably the most aerodynamic Megashira.
Definitely would agree with
Until
you there.
Enho.
Until
makes his
Enho.
arrival.
You're right. You're right.
Our next award is the Boom Headshot Award. This goes to Ichinojo for all of his consecutive slaps, followed up with a Hitakikomi slapdown. Notable people who were on the receiving end of this were Miyogiru and Mitaki Yumi. Holy crap, did Mitaki Yumi get his bell rung. Next up, we have the Y Award, which on day 15 goes to the match between Sho Hozan and Chiyo Shoma. This one started off bad. It was a bad mata from Sho Hozan, who just barreled into Chiyo Shoma and shoved the ever-loving crap out of him. They restarted the match, and then Chiyo Shoma goes for a weird kick/trip. It looked like two Skrull girls just trying to fight each other. And just it was a bad match all the way around. I have no idea what happened there. It should have been another Torinaoshi.
Yeah, that was pretty uncalled for from Sho Hozan. But Chiyo Shoma, I remember a few basho ago, didn't he just like smack Hokuto Fuji in the face on
Complete
a
nutter dirtbag.
Dead to us.
The Robbed Award goes to Okinomi on day 5, who pulled, and Chiyo Tairyu was definitely on the ground first, but the Gyoji didn't see it, and neither did any of the 5 Shimpan.
Yeah, that was egregiously bad.
It was so obvious. The slow-mo even showed it. The commentators are like,
He didn't even need the
his
slow-mo. The
forearm's
regular
down.
mo showed it.
The regular Mo.
No, it just bad. Totally robbed on that.
Yeah, that we don't often see like a blatantly wrong call like that.
Usually when we're calling robbery, it's because of our own biases.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think this one kind of was overlooked because it's Okinoumi and Chiyo Tairyu. Middling Maegashira guys, it didn't really make a huge
And
difference.
no one likes them.
But I think Okinoumi did end up with an 8-7 record, so
He did okay.
no harm, no foul. Actually, no, still a foul.
Yeah.
Get that
Oh,
right.
I was about to say no. No, I would have to disagree with you. That's totally a foul.
A little bit of harm.
Next up, we have the Not Today Award. This goes to Hakuho for his continued displays of how the hell did you make it through that without losing?
Ninja ballet.
Yeah, and I think we brought it up earlier in the podcast, particularly against Tochiozan and Tamawashi, where he gave up his back and still won.
He spun off of several different opponents. How do you win that way? It's just not possible.
It's like he's been watching the NFL, like doing spin moves. It's like,
Ooh, you think
just
that's where
great
he's getting his
tackles.
inspiration from?
Wow,
Must be.
you sound like you know more about NFL football than Ryan.
Oh, yes, I do. Push up my glasses.
Yokozuna Fleric, who was in the Super Bowl this past year.
That's not important.
No, we don't
it's
care
not.
about that. Next up, we have the Not So Fast Award. This goes to Kageyaki, who was just not too eager to begin his sumo. Several matches he had there where he just wouldn't put his hands down and begin. Not sure what his hesitation was. Was he contemplating life? Was he debating on something in his mind, or did he just not want to get hit?
Probably trying not to get 6 straight basho with a makekoshi.
That could be it.
Yeah, he ended up with a 9 and 6, so I guess it's working.
Still, he just didn't look like he was ready to go. And our last award, the No Pain, No Gain, goes to none other than the Walking Dead Ikioi. His knees, his ankles, his entire lower body, and most of his upper body are in nothing but pain.
I had an epiphany over the course of this basho that Ikioi, he's one of those Iron Man, like we mentioned. He's never missed a match. He's going to do this until he dies. And
On the dohyo.
on the dohyo. And when they drag him off, we need to study him. We need to get that body in some science labs and make body armor, make seat belts out of him. You know, like clearly whatever he's made of is the most durable material known to man.
A living tank, truly.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan, please roll the die for us.
Yes, Yokozuna Mac. We're going to go with 2.
It rolled on the carpet.
I was wondering,
Oh, yeah, you knew this was coming.
yeah, because I haven't had a single one about Goedo and Aoyama, and that's like
They're
the
on the list.
longest
They're
running.
But you got to say it with the inflection you knew that I typed this with.
I see the light, and I recognize my boy Aoyama will be a Yokozuna. I admire and aspire to emulate his chiseled physique.
Keep up with those Eggo waffles with peanut butter.
Get those triple-decker peanut butter-filled Eggo waffles.
You'll
Yeah.
get there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Aoyama sucks.
Well, obviously not. He did quite well.
How many more do we got to go? I just want to know what pace we should be on.
There are 2 more.
There are 2 more. Hit us with one more.
Let's pretend that was a 3.
No, it was a 12. No. What am I reading? It's a 14.
Aha!
Like 3.
3 it is.
I can't read.
Goedo is an honorable man and consistent fighter. I endorse him for Yokozuna promotion and then immediately
heard it
retire after he gets a Makekoshi.
Oh, Lord.
I just did the last one.
All right.
What is that number?
It was 14.
That's right. We got one more emotionally devastating one in us.
Yep.
Ariana Grande's new music is the soundtrack to my soul.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you, Yokozuna, my wife.
Truly the Yokozuna.
Because you know what she says in that new song of hers. What is the line that I hate so much? Hold on. Break up with your boyfriend because I'm bored.
Ugh.
What is the second line? Oh, well, it's awful. I hate that song.
Moving back. What was your favorite match of the basho?
You mean the GSP match at the basho?
Oh, yes, that's it.
Got to get that branding in there.
I believe the winner for the GSP match of the basho was on day 15, Hakuho versus Kakuryu.
That was my vote. Strongly contested matchup. Kind of more strongly than you would have thought from Kakuryu, but maybe he's just saving all of his mojo for that match against Yokozuna. That's why he was losing to like Takakeisho and all of them. But no, it was probably one of the longer matches of the basho. Tough Mawashi battle. It was going back and forth multiple times. There was actually a couple of points where I thought Hakuho was going to lose it, and then Hakuho at the end ended up throwing Kakuryu and his right bicep muscle out of the dohyo for the victory and the Yusho.
That was a great match.
It's fantastic. It made me realize I want to see Hakuho versus Kakuryu a lot more often.
It would be nice.
Yeah, it was such a treat, and I feel like he was definitely probably. I think he was probably the one who gave the most tough match. Like he looked like he was the most close match between two Rikshi right there, because he definitely seemed on par with Hakuho's belt battle.
Yeah, even like during the match, it was clear that Hakuho was giving it his all, and he absolutely had to every second. Unlike the ones where, like, he got a little careless and got spun and still managed to come back or something. He was clearly giving it his all, doing everything he could, and it was still a very close match. I have an honorable mention between two of the match between two of the most exciting, small, fast, highly skilled guys, Ishiura and Terutsuyoshi on day 2. And this is just a dream I had because the actual match was a damn henka by Ishiura. And
I was going to say.
he ruined all that hype. I was so excited for those two. And
You knew he was going to hanka.
no, not that one. No, because usually he henkas against the
big guys.
the bigger guys. But like the smaller guys, he usually ends up in like closer contested belt matches and stuff like that. Ishiura, he usually ends up that way. But damn it, I was so pumped about that one because Terutsuyoshi is a guy that we haven't seen a ton from, like us personally. Haven't seen a ton from, but he's been very exciting. He's a memorable guy, and that matchup was ruined.
Hopefully, in the next basho, should everything work out with the promotions and demotions to and from Juryo, we'll have a rematch between Terutsuyoshi and Ishiura. We'll also have a match between Terutsuyoshi and Enho. Unfortunately, we will not see Enho versus Ishiura, as they are both in the Miyagino stable.
Yeah, they are 3-1, by the way. Ishiura versus Terutsuyoshi
In favor of
Ishiura.
Nice.
All right. And I searched my brain and racked my memory for my favorite song by Ariana Grande, which is break up with your boyfriend or break up with your girlfriend, I'm bored. The lyrics go, break up with your girlfriend, yeah, 'cause I'm bored. You can hit it in the morning, yeah, like it's yours. I know it ain't right, but I don't care. Break up with your girlfriend, yeah, 'cause I'm bored.
You know what that makes me think of? Ryan. That sounds like the soundtrack to your soul.
It sure does, Yokozuna, Jake. And Yokozuna, Jake, why don't you tell us your favorite moment of the Haru Basho?
It was a bittersweet one, but it is the one that I'm going to remember. It was the Ozeki swap match between Takakeisho and Tochinoshin, where it was on the line. The winner of the match would be an Ozeki in the next tournament, and the loser would not be. And Takakeisho pulled it out against a clearly diminished Tochinoshin. The match itself wasn't, super high quality just because of that, but it's the moment I'm going to look back on this basho for.
Yeah, it was the exact same moment for me. Whatever crazy scheduling, it just happened to go into that, where that match on the last day had the consequence for both people. I'm so happy that happened, and it was just great watching it.
It was possibly the most consequential individual match that we've seen. Mm-hmm. I think that was just amazing. Outside of maybe a playoff or something for a U show, but it was an extremely emotional moment, and like I said, bittersweet.
For those exact reasons, that was also my favorite moment of the basho. I'll also point out that 2 or 3 days prior to that match, I somewhat predicted that would happen on Twitter, so props to me. Yokozuna Mac, what was your favorite moment of the basho?
You should go ahead and roll the dice for that little humble brag you did.
All right, let's get 19 again. You know what? I hate America.
You fiend.
How fitting. No, my favorite moment was the Takakeisho, the Ozeki swap was definitely bittersweet. I'm a huge Tochinoshin fan, but my favorite for this was definitely getting Hakuho getting his 15th zensho-yusho. Holy crap, 15. How many more can this man do?
I do like seeing him up his stats for another basho.
Just Wayne Gretzky it a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Yes, exactly. Just furthering that gap of going, look where you have to be to get to my level.
Okie dokie. Before we finish up, I swear I'm only doing it to prevent myself from saying it all.
It's going to make me laugh every time.
Keep it up. Please don't
We
stop.
have our shout-outs to our Twitter users who commented on our bold prediction thread. We have too many to really list for people that predicted a Tochinoshin demotion and Takakeisho promotion. Just know that if you said that on that thread, good for you. You got it right.
It wasn't bold enough.
We also had a lot of people predicting a Takayasu Yusho for probably the 8th consecutive basho. Everybody's predicting Takayasu Yusho, and for the 8th consecutive basho, they were wrong.
That just means the time that they are right with that prediction will be all the bolder.
If it ever happens. At Blue the Creek predicted a Hakuho Zensho Yusho, which is getting less and less bold as we go, but still I think predicting any Zensho Yusho still gets props. We've got at Damoon Rules, who predicted an Enho Makuuchi win, which he did get sometime toward the beginning of the basho. I don't remember over who. Good job, Enho.
His first ever match in Makuuchi, and he is now 1-0. He's got the best record of anybody in Makuuchi.
Best winning percentage, yep.
Yeah.
A shout out to a surprisingly wrong prediction. At Casey_Mustang predicted that somebody would go Kyujo. When I first read that, I'm like, that's a pretty cheap prediction there, Mr. At Casey Mustang. But nobody went Kyujo, unless you count Shionokuni, which we are particularly not.
No, that was the same day that the official announcement happened. So, I just think it's fascinating that this prediction was wrong for the first time, ever.
Yeah. Nobody pulled out mid-basho. Shionokuni was never even on the Torikumi. That
Just
probably
was,
counts as Kyujo, but
that's what you get for taking the low-hanging fruit, Casey Mustang.
Yeah. You get called out for that bull crap. Bring it harder next time. And our MVP award goes to at Mr. J Wags, a former fantasy guest on the podcast. He predicted Takakeisho up to Ozeki, Tochinoshin down from Ozeki. He predicted 10+ wins for Ichinojo, and he predicted, as I'm pretty sure he always does, Ikioi is in tatters, which is more right than ever. He did guess wrong on Takayasu winning the Yusho, which we already shamed him for before, and Tamawashi getting 10+ wins. But he got a lot right, so MVP award to at Mr. J Wags.
Pretty bold and pretty solid winning percentage for that.
Definitely.
Why don't you grab that die one more time, Ryan?
Give me a 12. I like this one. I find my wife's stories about work very boring. I feel like that's not satisfying enough for you fools, you monsters. So hit me with an 18.
Yokozuna fools.
Yokozuna fools. Aw. Waffles are better than pancakes, and I eat them with strawberry jelly.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Joni Don Ryan.
I hate you all. So the next basho will be the Natsu basho, which will be starting.
Not so.
Not so
The not so basho, because it probably won't have hakuho. And is that really a basho? No, it'll be the Natsu basho starting the second Sunday of May. We will have a couple of bonus episodes in the meantime.
We should figure out what those will be.
We should have one game show in there.
That's
and then
right. We do have one.
Probably a couple other. We might test out a couple of formats and see how those work. If they're good, you'll see them. If they're
Just
not,
just don't promise
just-
anything.
you
yeah,
won't.
no.
So you probably won't. And you can go ahead and rate us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. Pretty please.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook, Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Our blog is grandsumobreakdown.com.
You can give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Hit me with an 11.
No! Perfect.
I know
Perfect
less
add-on.
about WWE wrestling than Jake, less about gaming than Mac, and Yokozuna Flair can go screw himself.
Wait, what?
And less about NFL football than Yokozuna Flair. We'll see you next
It's okay.
time.
We can sit down and I'll let you know. I'll tell you.
Will you?
Teach him the ways of
I'll
the
teach you the
football.
ways.
Tell me,
yeah.
who
The
was in
footy.
the Super Bowl, this most recent Super Bowl? Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.